taken.
1
But
of
that's
16?
not even what's crazy. What's crazy is that he shoots all his penalties in the same corner. Yes, it always goes to the goalkeeper's right, all of them. Yet he has such a high accuracy.
And they all still go in.
Really crazy. You can tell that.
10 things you didn't know about Dominik Szoboszlai. Without wasting any more time, guys, let's get straight into it.
Dominik Szoboszlai is the latest
Straight into it.
block, and for those of you who don't really know him, you've come to the right place, because we're about to tell you 10 things you didn't know about Dominik Szoboszlai. And here's the first really interesting fact about him. He grew up in a footballing family. Oh yes, Dominik was born in Hungary in the year 2000 to Zanet Nemeth and a former professional footballer named Zsolt Szoboszlai. Zanet, his mum, was 19, and Zsolt, his dad, was 23 when they had him. Zsolt played professionally in the
Mad young.
lower tiers of Austrian football, and you have to say that that really helped Szoboszlai get to the point that he's at right now, because his dad started to train him as early as 3 years old. And that leads us to the next interesting fact about...
And this is something that I said when we were talking about Szoboszlai in that first video, when we were reacting to just Szoboszlai and his playing style. Something I said was how his close control on the ball is something that only comes from hours and hours and hours of practice. And you can tell that as you're hearing this stuff, you know, both of his parents being ex-professional footballers or at least ex-footballers. I don't know about the professional part. You can begin to see where that kind of comes from, and it's quite interesting.
About Dominik, he started practicing with golf balls. When he was a kid, Szoboszlai's dad would train him with golf balls. He'd put one ball in each hand and ask him to look for perfect technical solutions when he failed to receive the ball in an ideal situation. It might seem difficult to understand as someone who's not a professional footballer, but what's important is that it worked, as it has made him a really good midfielder now. And you know what else has made him a really good midfielder? His admiration of Steven Gerrard.
On that point again, it also makes him extremely versatile because he's able to react to these different situations on the pitch. It makes him able to play, you know, we've said this before, he can play as an 8 if needed. He's better as a 10, and he can drift to the left and drift to the right when also needed to during the game. So that stuff like that just made him extremely versatile.
Szoboszlai was incredibly inspired by the Liverpool legend. He said that when he was younger, he didn't watch a lot of football, but he would watch the Champions League, and of course, Gerrard was often amazing there. And no, this is not one of those things that players make up after they sign for a new club. Szoboszlai has a tattoo which was inspired by Steven Gerrard.
Mad.
It's a tattoo of a quote from Gerrard which says, "Talent is a blessing from God, but without incredible will and humility, it is worthless." Now he'll be wearing the number 8 jersey, which was famously worn by Gerrard himself. A beautiful story, isn't it? And just like Gerrard was, Szoboszlai is great at set pieces, but there's something really unique about him.
He's amazing at set pieces. Again, back to that first video we were talking about when we were looking at his technical ability. The knuckleballs that this man is able to perform are insane, which makes him extremely dangerous in a free kick perspective because he can take them far away, but then he can also place them. When it comes to set pieces, especially free kicks, Szoboszlai is very, very special.
His penalties. Dominik Szoboszlai almost has a 100% accuracy from penalties. He has missed just one of the 16 penalties he's taken.
1 of 16?
That's not even what's crazy. What's crazy is that he shoots all his penalties in the same corner. Yes, it always goes to the goalkeeper's right, all of them. Yet he has such a high accuracy.
And they all still go in.
Really crazy. You can tell that.
And they all still go in.
He'll put the ball, but they still cannot get to it. One other thing Liverpool fans will love to find out about Szoboszlai is that he rejected Arsenal. I mean, who doesn't love it when one of their players rejects a rival? Back in 2020, when Szoboszlai was
again, but it's just. I'm not trying to take away from Szoboszlai rejecting Arsenal because, you know, as a Liverpool fan, I would also be happy about that. But at the same time, it was just kind of smart from Szoboszlai. Why do you want to go to Arsenal when they've got Odegaard, when they've got Kai Havertz, when they've got Declan Rice? You know, a team, especially with Odegaard there, like a player that plays in your position, that's a starter, that's the captain. It just didn't make sense for him to go to Arsenal. So yeah, great thing that he did choose Liverpool over Arsenal. Great thing that he's an admirer of Steven Gerrard. But him not going to Arsenal was just a common sense decision.
Set to leave RB Salzburg, Arsenal approached him and wanted to bring him over to the Premier League. But he rejected the North London club and went to Germany instead to join RB Leipzig. He was just 20 years old at the time.
Actually, I take back what I said. Because if you're talking about 3 years ago, I mean, Odegaard had just joined. If you're talking about 3 years ago, then it makes sense. Still, young player going to a big club. He still wanted to make sure that he was an established player. But him leaving from Leipzig to Salzburg and rejecting Arsenal, that's a different story now. I didn't know that part. Okay, that's interesting.
Fine. Now, fast forward to 2023, and he's moved to the Premier League, but not to join Arsenal, even though the Gunners will be playing in the Champions League, while Liverpool will not. Perhaps he didn't move to Arsenal in 2020 because he was holding out for Liverpool. But while he rejected Arsenal, Szoboszlai happens to be really close friends with a rival player. And that's none other than Erling Haaland. Yeah. Szoboszlai and Haaland played together for 1 year
they played together.
RB Salzburg. And during that time, the pair became really close. And guess what? Even though they'll now be on opposing sides...
That's an insane part. I'm just remembering that Salzburg team in the Champions League that year. That Salzburg team was insane. Very, very good team. They could have had... I think they could have done it something a bit better the year prior if Haaland had stayed. But at that point, Haaland was too big, he was too hot, and he had to leave. But yeah, that Salzburg team was something else.
Of a fierce rivalry in the Premier League, this might bring them even closer. Apparently, Haaland has already reached out to Szoboszlai and talked to him about getting a house somewhere between Liverpool and Manchester where most footballers live. So they could really end up being neighbours, you know? Wow, right? Maybe these two will recreate that Lewandowski and Royce video at the next Liverpool versus Man City game. Anyway, apart from football, Dominik Szoboszlai is apparently also good at snowboarding. So, during his free time...
A bit useless, but okay.
You bet he's probably on the snow somewhere with his friends and is bored. If he's not playing football, training or snowboarding, then he's probably somewhere in front of a TV. You know why? Because he loves playing FIFA and is a huge anime fan. Wow, I mean...
W anime from Szoboszlai, W anime.
Dominik is just like us in so many ways, isn't he? Well, except that none of us have just landed a huge contract deal with one of the biggest clubs in the world. Anyway, you know what else Szoboszlai loves to do? Cook. Oh yes. It's not very common to see footballers who can cook, not to talk of footballers who love to cook, but Szoboszlai is apparently an exception. The boy enjoys being in the kitchen. Wow then. A young, wealthy, talented, tall and good-looking Premier League star who loves...
Okay, pause. I don't know what's going on in these videos. People always saying some sus stuff. Pause. Jeez.
To cook. He is definitely every lady's dream. Well, those ladies will have to go back to bed because this man right here is already taken.
Pause again.
He's in a relationship with Fanny Getchek, a beautiful Hungarian model, influencer and former tennis player. The pair look like they're really in love and they're pretty public about it too. So, sorry ladies. Anyway, those are 10 things that you didn't know about Dominik Szoboszlai. But now we have one question for you. How do you think his time at Liverpool will be? Will he tear the Premier League apart under Jurgen Klopp? Or will Liverpool regret spending £60 million on him?
I don't think Liverpool will regret it at all. I think we'll see an amazing partnership between the club and the player and hopefully some success on the pitch. Now, same thing, let me know in the comments what you guys think of Szoboszlai and, you know, these 10 interesting facts, I guess. What was I going to say? I forgot. Anyways. Oh yeah, I'm going to leave the link to Go90's video in the description, of course. Thank you very much for watching to the end. You're much appreciated, guys. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share. Do all those things to please help me grow this channel. And I'll see you guys soon.